Welcome everybody to the second half of English 205. My name is Matt Kilbane and I will be your instructor for the second half of this course in which we focus on poetry. Okay? I trust that with Rebecca and Natalie you wrote some beautiful pieces of fiction and I hope that was a fruitful experience for you. But now we're going to switch gears and start focusing on the reading and writing of poems. Okay? I want to begin today with a two-pronged introduction to the course. In this first video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the policy and the schedules for the course. And then in the second video, we're going to talk a little bit about poetry in general, a sort of introduction to what is poetry, what people think about poetry, etc. Okay? Your first assignment, your very first assignment, is to simply read the policies and the schedule very carefully. All right? Because we're moving at such a rapid pace in this course, it's very important that we're all on the same page in terms of what's expected and that sort of thing. And it is of particular importance that you read these policies because there are a few things that I do differently than Rebecca and Natalie do, and I want to make sure we're all on the same page with regard to those aspects of the course. Okay? If you have any questions about the policies or the schedule, please email me at mkilbane@purdue.edu, okay? And of course, that's something you'll be able to do throughout the entire semester, all right, is email me whenever you have a question or concern. A few of the most obvious differences in the course that you will notice are the daily assignments, okay? Just like Rebecca and Natalie, I'm going to have daily assignments, but rather than have these assignments in the form of PowerPoints attached to the assignment page on Blackboard, the directions for the assignment and the questions are going to be on the assignment page itself. So there will be nothing to download, okay? And in lieu of those beautiful, very well-crafted PowerPoints, you're going to have me and this camera and this Blackboard, okay? That's how I'm going to introduce the concepts to you. So we're going to have more videos in this half of the class. You won't have a video every day, but most days, as you'll see on the schedule, there'll be a video for you to watch. Okay. Obviously, you won't be writing a short story for this part of the class. You're going to be writing poems. Okay. Every Friday, you're going to hand in a poem to me. Okay. And you're also going to post that poem, just as you did with Rebecca and Natalie, to the discussion page for a peer critique. Okay. So that'll all be the same, except that over the course of the semester you're going to be handing in 3 poems on the first 3 Fridays, respectively, and then another poem in the middle of the 4th week, and then all 4 of these poems together revised as a portfolio on the final day of class, on that final Friday. Okay? There are a few other small aspects of the portfolio that will be new to you, but I'll talk about those later on in the semester. So no worries about that right now. At this stage, I just want you to get introduced to the course and start thinking about your first poem, which will be due on Friday. Okay? Those are the most conspicuous differences in the course, right? Everything else is going to be kept pretty much the same. But as I said, if you have questions, if things seem unfamiliar to you, if you're confused at all, please email me, mkilbane@purdue.edu. Okay? Just a few things to remind you about. 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours a day is pretty much what I'm expecting from you for this course, particularly in these first couple weeks because we have a lot of information that will be new to you, and I want to give you, or you want to give yourself, rather, plenty of time to process this, to read the poems, to think about the poems, etc. The course materials, vintage book of contemporary American poetry, okay? You should already have this textbook. If not, and you're in West Lafayette or in the area, Vaughn's should have the book. Barring that, it's a very popular textbook. You'll be able to find it online, no problem. If you cannot get it by tomorrow, okay, because the first assignment from this book will be tomorrow. If you cannot get the book by then, please send me an email, okay? We'll have to figure something else out. But get your hands on it if you have not as soon as possible, okay? All of the other readings that you'll see mentioned in the schedule that are not in the textbook can be found on Blackboard. And so you'll see on the schedule these readings have a little BB after the name. So for instance, today, instead of reading from the textbook, I want you to read a couple poems on a PDF document on Blackboard called Poems About Poetry. Okay, so you'll be reading that for today. In addition, you're going to be thoroughly digesting, right, the policies and the schedule. Okay, read over those a couple times maybe, really get a handle on them. You're going to watch the second half of this video, okay, and then you're going to complete assignment 1, all right, in addition to reading the Poems About Poetry document that you'll find on Blackboard. I want to make one more little comment about reading for this course, okay? Just as it was for the fiction half, this is a reading intensive course, okay? Things are a little different for poetry, I think, than fiction, all right? If you have a short story, you can typically read it once, maybe twice, and get the full sense of it, right? For poetry, poems, because they're shorter, because they're traditionally more condensed, right, require a little bit more attention, all right? So every poem needs to be read a couple times, okay? I'm thinking 3, 4, 5 times, right? In addition to that, you're going to want to read the poem out loud, all right, which is kind of a strange thing if you've never done it before, but you'll quickly get used to it. And the reason we read poems out loud is because in poetry, a large premium is placed on the sound of words, right? The music of the language, okay? In order to really hear that, in order to experience it, you're going to want to read the poems out loud, okay? So, you know, wherever you are, find a quiet space, you know, your roommate will get used to it after a couple days, so no worries about that, all right? Reading poems out loud, reading poems 4 to 5 times, all right? Let's see, I believe that is all the new information I have for you right now. But like I said, if you have any questions as to the policies and schedule, which I'm sure you will as we get going, please send me an email, okay? And I invite you to continue along with me in video number 2, What is Poetry? Okay, thank you.